This is the story of Daddy and Mr Noonan and the Phantasmagorical wizard. Okay, ready?
Wizard.
Yep. Do you know what a wizard is?
Yeah. It's like a witch, except it's a boy witch.
Well, it's
And
not
witch
really,
is called
sort
a
of.
wizard.
Wizards,
And
yeah.
it does magic.
Yeah. Okay, now listen, here we go. Daddy and Mr Noonan were out shopping one day. They were down at Aldi. And they were in, you know, the cheese section where you get cheese and milk and stuff and butter? They were in there when Daddy said, do we need butter? And Mr Noonan said, yeah, we need butter. And Daddy reached up to the butter, and if you look at the butter, there's a picture of a man's face on it. It's like the guy who makes the butter. And he was about to grab it when the face started talking. They said, hello, Daddy. And Daddy went, oh, rubbed his eyes, looked around. And he said, yes, it's me talking, the butter. Daddy looked up at it, and sure enough, there was a little stick of butter, and the man's face on it was going, hello, Daddy. And Daddy said, you're the butter, what's going on here? He said, well, I'm actually the Phantasmagorical wizard, and I've been waiting to find a chance to talk to you. Daddy said, well, okay, right, what do you got to say? And he said, buy the butter. Daddy said, what? He said, buy the butter, buy me. Daddy said, what? He said, buy my butter. I said, okay. He went over to Mr Noonan with the butter and said, look, I'd like you to meet the Phantasmagorical wizard. And it looked up at Mr Noonan and said, hello, Mr Noonan. Daddy looked down at the talking butter. And
We
the
need
butter said,
light, Daddy.
no, we don't. The butter, let's leave it. And he said, oh, well, pleased to meet you. Why are you, the butter, talking to me? And he said, because I am the Phantasmagorical wizard. And actually, I'm not really butter, I'm just disguised as butter. So buy me, and when we leave, I'll talk to you. So they went through the checkout, and they paid the lady, and she said, oh, look, butter, you're always buying lots of butter. Daddy said, yes, we always are, aren't we? And she said, yes, oh, well, that's good, you know, butter's good for you, it tastes nice on bread, yes, that's right. Daddy said, I don't think we'll be using this on our bread. He put it in the bag, and off they went. He jumped into the car, took the butter out, and he said, right, now I want you to get out of the car and throw me up into the air. Daddy got out of the car, Mr Noonan got out too, and he took the butter and he flung it straight up into the air as hard as he could. It went right up into the sky, and all of a sudden it exploded like fireworks. And then floating down with an umbrella, an open umbrella like a parachute, was this man with a long white beard and a shiny purple cape, stripy trousers, shoes with the toes of the shoes came around in a big curling point, and a turban on his head.
What's a turban?
A purple turban. It looks like a towel that's wrapped up on your head.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Like Indian people.
Yeah, that's right, like Indian people wear. Except he was no Indian.
Yeah.
He was a white old man with a long white beard. Daddy and Mr Noonan looked at him astounded and said, hello, what happened to our butter? That cost me $1.95. And the wizard said, oh, don't worry about that. I'm the Phantasmagorical wizard, and you won't lose your $1.95. At the end of our adventure today, it'll be like none of this had ever happened, and you'll never have spent that money. And Daddy said, what do you mean by that? And the wizard pulled out a long wand from inside his cape and said, I'll show you. And he touched both of them on the heads, and all of a sudden, they disappeared.
It disappeared?
Yep, all three of them were whisked away. Whoosh! They were flying through the air, except it wasn't the air, it was something different. It was dark and it was like watery, what they were flying through, but they could still breathe. It was really strange. There were sparkly sparkles everywhere, sizzling sizzles all over the place. The Phantasmagorical wizard said, you're not scared, are you? Daddy Mr Noonan said, oh, well, I don't think so. We've been through some pretty amazing things. It'd take a lot to scare us these days. All of a sudden, they landed on a sandy beach. The sun was shining overhead. There were banana trees nearby.
Banana trees!
Banana trees!
Banana trees!
Yep. The Phantasmagorical wizard said, would you like a banana? Daddy said, I wouldn't mind a banana, actually. And the phantasmagorical wizard held out his hand, and a banana flew from the tree into his hand. Then it started unpeeling itself, magically. Then the banana popped out of its skin, flew over to Mr Noonan, Daddy, and jumped straight in his mouth. He said, this is the most amazing banana I've ever tasted. It tastes like a chocolate banana. It tastes like a chocolate banana made with ice cream and tastes as if it had chocolate syrup on it with sprinkles. But it looks just like a banana. Well, Phantasmagorical Wizard said, that's right, because it's a magic banana. They said, oh, I see. Mr Noonan said, I want one. And again, the Phantasmagorical Wizard held out his hand, and just like he said, another banana came, and it started unpeeling, and then it flew into Mr Noonan's mouth. Mr Noonan spat it out. Puh, puh, it tastes like poo. Phantasmagorical Wizard said, well, that's because you never know what you're going to get. It's a bit of a lucky dip with the magical banana tree. You're lucky you didn't get the vomit-flavoured banana. Mr Noonan said, it's disgusting. He ran over to the sea, the water, and washed his mouth out. So Phantasmagorical Wizard said, well, I guess you're wondering why I've brought you here. And Daddy and Mr Noonan said, well, as a matter of fact, we are. Phantasmagorical Wizard said, I've got a bit of a problem with the magic. This is my island. I live on a desert island in the middle of the North Pacific Ocean, and I've wizarded you away here so that you could help me with Daddy's daddy magic and Mr Noonan's cleverness. There's been an imbalance on the magic of my island. He said, come on, I'll show you. So he opened a trapdoor in the sand, and down they jumped, and they went into an amazingly huge underground living area. And he said, look at this. And the wizard pressed a button, and a big mechanical hand came out and slapped the wizard, and then slapped Daddy in the face. Slap, slap, slap. And then slapped Mr Noonan in the face. Slap, slap, slap. Said, what the blazes was that? The wizard said, well, that hand is supposed to come out and shake your hand, take your coat, and hang it up. Did you see what it did? Well, yes, I did see what it did. It just slapped me in the face. Well, that's just the start. Watch this. The wizard went over to his kitchen and said, bring me a chocolate sundae ice cream. And a hand came out and poured ice cream, melted ice cream, all over the wizard's head, all over Daddy's head, all over Mr Noonan's head, and then poured a big bucket of sprinkles on the three of them. And they stood there covered in dripping ice cream, saying, oh, I see your problem. Is this as worse as it gets? And the wizard said, oh, no, unfortunately it doesn't. Right. He said, watch this. Because it's an automated magical house. He said, I would like to take a bath now. Well, the hand came and grabbed the wizard, opened the dishwasher, stuffed him into it, closed the door and turned it on. In the dishwasher. Luckily the wizard was magic and could magic himself out of it. You see my problems, don't you, Daddy Mr Noonan? Daddy said, yes. Well, I suppose you've heard that I'm very good at fixing things, said Daddy to the wizard. And the wizard said, yes, I have. I've heard that you're very good at fixing things, and that's why I brought you here. Daddy said, all right, take me to the magic room. So the wizard took him all the way down through the house to the magic room. And they opened the door, and in the magic room, things were going haywire. There were wheels buzzing around. There was tape flying everywhere. There was ticker tape being thrown around the room. It was just going crazy. Daddy clapped his hands together 3 times. Then rubbed them. And then said, quick, give me your wand, Mr Wizard. Mr Wizard gave me his wand. He took the wand, waved it around, and everything stopped. Daddy said, right, now we better have a look at this. And he went over, where's your control panel? And he went over to the control panel, he opened it up. He said, here's your problem then. He said, what is it? He said, you really don't know? He said, no. Somebody has stuck a fork in your control panel. Who could that be? The wizard said, well, I don't know. Well, there's a fork in here. Not only is there a fork, there's a spoon and a knife. Have you been eating in here? The wizard said, no. He said, look, and to dig further, I dig down into your control panel. There's a plate with lasagna on it. And it still looks warm. He kept digging, he cleaned it all out. And look at this. What's this doing here? A golf club. He pulled the golf club out. And what's this, he said, an old boot. He said, well, here's your problem. So he cleaned out the whole control panel, fixed it up, and went back to the wizard and he said, try it now. The wizard said, house, bring me a cup of coffee. And the hand came out with a cup of coffee and handed it to the wizard. Oh, he said, well, that seemed to work. Let's try another one. House, give me a bath. The hand picked up the wizard and took him into the bathroom, and there was a beautiful warm bath with bubbles in it. Oh, well, that seemed to work. He said, house, pull my finger. And the little hand came out and pulled his finger. Oh, he fluffed her! So, yep, the house is working fine now. Thank you, Daddy. Now, is there anything that I can do for you for helping me fix my magical house? And Daddy said, well, I might need your services one day. You're a very powerful wizard. And one day when I'm in trouble from somebody like Roberto or the darkness, I might need to come and call on you one day to help me. And the wizard said, your wish is my command. I am in your debt.
Is that another story?
That will be
something like that happens?
That'll be another story. It's not over. Hang on, it's not over yet.
Oh.
Now, how are we getting home, Daddy said. The wizard said, well, I'm going to send you home on one of my magical boats. They climbed back out onto the beach, up through the trapdoor, and there was the most wonderful looking boat you've ever seen. It was the lightest shining blue in colour. It had lovely silvery purpley sails. It had a beautiful mermaid carving on the prow, the front of the ship. They climbed aboard. There were 2 comfy beds on the deck. He said, this ship will take you back to your home. And aboard it was beautiful fruits and lollies and chocolates and fairy floss and ice cream. All the loveliest. Imagine what food, if you could have any food, what would you like, Billy?
Banana.
That was there. What about you, Clarky? What would you like?
Banana.
2, really?
Everything in the world.
Everything you could think of was there on a special food table in the ship.
Ice cream, lollipops, candies,
and
every
lolly in
the world,
every
chocolate in the world, every treat in the world.
Yes, and then Mr Noonan looked over on the table and there were also magical bananas and he said, I'm not having any of those. You never know what you get. It might be a vomit-flavoured banana. So off the ship sailed with Daddy and Mr Noonan, and the wizard waved them goodbye. He said, goodbye. I'm the Phantasmagorical wizard and I wish you all the best on your journey and I hope we meet again soon. And that's the end of that story.
That's a great one.
Did you like that one?
Snuggles, snuggles, snuggles. Night.